Hi, folks. Welcome back to the Cobb TV studios with Chairman Mike Boyce for our weekly chat. How you doing today?
Good. I'm in my ride-along clothes. I'm doing a ride-along tonight with Precinct 4, and it's one of my regular efforts to stay in touch with our police and public safety officials. So I bring good luck whenever I go somewhere in these ride-alongs. Hopefully I don't jinx myself tonight by saying that, but it's a great opportunity to see how well trained our young men and women are and how well they do to protect us here, which is our foremost responsibility as a government, is to protect the people.
Well, I live in Precinct 4, so I'll keep that in mind tonight when you're out. How many of these have you been on, and what have you learned over all these ride-alongs?
Well, there's 5 precincts, and I've done at least 2 ride-alongs in each one of them. Plus, I've done a couple ride-alongs with the Sheriff's Department. I've done ride-alongs with the special units like Viper. So we're probably getting close to 20. And the thing that you come away with is how well trained these young men and women are. I just find it remarkable they're not jaded, because some of the behavior you see out there on the road, and no one's ever happy to have a blue light behind them, but they have a great positive attitude, because they're there to, and to inform people, instruct the people as to what the laws are, and to ask them to comply. And for those that are egregious cases, they get citations. But there's no question about it. The number one thing that you're left with is we train them well, we equip them well, and we lead them well. And we are the envy of Georgia for our police department, and for a very good reason.
It just seems to me these men and women in uniform are getting younger each year.
Either that or I'm getting older.
I know, exactly.
But it's like last night I was up in Precinct 1 area, and Officer Fernando Farr, who is a retired Army veteran after spent over more than 20 years in the U.S. Army, then joined our police department and went through the police academy, and is out there on the road right now as part of our community connection affairs program. So he's just one typical of so many of the great men and women. I've ridden with both men and women, and there's no difference. They're both very, very well trained. They know their job, and they understand their commitment to this county, how important they are in ensuring that this is a county where you can safely work, live, play, and pursue your dreams.
You and I were talking, there's been some news this week of a big project in the works with a secret name called Project Dashboard, which you said you were aware of.
Right. Well, I've been working with the commissioners on this project. Here's how this works. The state is usually the funnel for the biggest projects that want to come to Georgia. And the state picks out the county which they believe is best suited to support this kind of enterprise. So they've been working with both the Chamber and our Tourism and Travel Bureau and our Community Development Agency here in the county to put together a package that will attract this company to come to Cobb County. And this week they have gone to the Development Authority of Cobb County, which is an independent authority that provides funding, uses bonds in the private market to address financial sources of income for this company that wants to come here. And this week they're going to be they're going to be meeting with the school board to make the presentation, and then they're going to meet with a full board, the full Development Authority board, I believe, on Friday. And everyone, after they hear those presentations, if the project has support by them, then they'll put together the necessary documents to come to the county, asking for us to approve our part of the investment, which is the incentives that we've either passed or have had in place for a long time to bring this county here. And let's make no mistake about this. The paper says it's $264 million. And all I know about this investment right now is that it's about that. It's a company that's from outside Cobb, and they're asking for discretion as much as they can because they are coming from outside Cobb. They're going to want to talk to their employees that they're going to have to relocate to give them the news first. As anyone knows, it's a common courtesy. If you're going to give somebody bad news, it's good to hear from you personally rather than read about it in the paper. So we're well along in the process. We're probably next in line to receive our direction from how we want to engage in this. But a $264 million project in Cobb County where we're all involved, as much as we can be in an open process and communicating with each other in a transparent manner. That says a lot that we can do this kind of business in Cobb County, and keep the citizens involved through their representatives.
And you mentioned it was very important to keep everybody who needs to know
Sure.
in the know.
Right.
But as you mentioned, discretion's the better part of valor.
And that's just how the business community works. The law has always allowed business discussions of some nature to be kept, in a discreet manner. Like, for instance, the law allows us that if somebody wants to come to Cobb County and buy a large tract of land, we're allowed to discuss those real estate transactions in executive session. And the reason for that, of course, is that if you're in the business community, large companies, in order to remain competitive, don't want to have all this information out there in the marketplace. Moreover, it keeps us out of being able to compete with them by offering our services, because you have this effect of, it's like a real estate transaction here in the local economy. If I want to buy a house, I'd better buy it now in a hot market like Cobb is right now, because if I don't buy it right now, you can bet there's people in line behind me that the sellers know about and are willing to pay that price. So this kind of discrete transaction has always been allowed. And right now, what I've done is as soon as I knew about the proposed project in its general form, I told each of the commissioners about it, so they'd be aware of the fact that it's out there. The state's working on it, the development authority's working on it, and we're working on it in some fashion. So when they read about it in the paper, it's no surprise to them.
Is it days, weeks, or months before the rest of us get to learn?
I don't know. My guess is that since it's already in today's newspaper, it's more a matter of days than weeks, or certainly months, not months, before the full details of this project are announced. Because the bottom line, we live in it's called the United States of America. The press is very aggressive in trying to find information. You're a former journalist, and you know that your responsibility is to find that information and get it out to the public. So I had a conversation this morning with the state economic development. I was saying, look, the story's in the paper. I just want you to know that if you're trying to hold back the walls of water here, it's going to come over the dike here real soon. You better have a story ready for the press.
Yeah, you're probably correct. Speaking of months, so we have a couple of busy months ahead when it comes to the budget, and we're starting to, you made it clear that you want to educate people on how we got to the point we are at today.
Right. And that's working. I see that. I was at a homeowners association last night and got up and gave my usual pitch, and no questions. So either that's a sign of they're ready to attack or they understand that the process is still very fluid because we have not put together a draft budget yet. In other words, no decisions have been made because the board doesn't meet until June 12th. But I think it's important that those who watch this video, and there's about 500 of you that watch this on a regular basis, if what I see every Sunday when I get together to put out my video or my email. Next week what I'll do is we're going to start giving you an advance copy of what it is we're going to take to the town halls, and also what I'll be discussing at the retreat on June 12th at the Civic Center after lunch on that day. And the commissioners will all get a copy of the rough budget that I'll be proposing before Memorial Day weekend. And that will allow them a good solid week to peruse these numbers, measure them against what they've learned during this year process, and then be prepared for their questions on June 12th when we get to put together the budget that I will take on the road. But everyone that's watching this video, they're going to see that before June 12th. I think that if you've taken the time to watch me every week, then I think we should give you a gift that you worked for, and we're going to give you some of the charts, and you'll know before anybody else what it is that the budget's probably going to look like, that I'm going to be taking to the board commission members on June 12th, realizing that is just a proposal. On June 12th is when we are going to shape this budget and match it against the millage rate. So I again remind everybody, like I did last night at the Homeowners Association meeting, nothing has been decided. But you will help us make a decision by sending us your emails, and those who are watching this video, after you see what the proposed millage rate, what the proposed budget projects will look like, I'm sure that you'll be giving me some input about what you think about that.
not to give anything away, but when you go through the story on how we got to where we are and why we are where we are, I'm not going to say it's a frustrating thing, but the challenging thing is not just one factor.
No, it isn't. And I find it interesting people who say, well, you know, if you don't do this, then I'm not going to vote for you again. Well, I wish my life was that simple, all right? But there are a number of services county provides. And if you're going to evaluate your elected officials on one program, you're going to be very disappointed because there's no way we're going to keep you happy on all of them. What we try to do is provide you with the most services we can with a most efficient cost. And this whole process involves patience because everybody wants to know what we're doing tomorrow. And my answer is, I don't know what we're doing tomorrow yet because we have not prepared the foundation yet for today. And once we have the foundation for today, then we'll know what we're going to do tomorrow. But you will know, the time has now come. The first town hall is roughly a week away. And you're going to know, if you're watching this video, you're going to know next week how we got to where we got. And then you're going to know on the first video after Memorial Day what it is that we're going to be looking at for some of the programs. But I think it's important for you all to know, this is probably brand new to all of you that are watching, what I am hearing from some of the commissioners is that everybody knows I want the 1.1 mil, and that's just to fill the hole. And we all know what the hole was caused by. But the budget process has done exactly what I thought it would do. It has shown them that there are requirements in this county that perhaps we need to be considering to go above the 1.1 mil. And that's the beauty of the retreat that everybody's invited to, that you can see how we're going to get to that. And obviously there's political pressure to have the lowest possible millage rate. But I'm way beyond playing games anymore. I'm way beyond the pandering. The $30 million, that is just to fill a hole that we've known about for 4 years. And I'm the one that's been asked to fill that hole. And whoever was sitting in this seat today, they would have the same challenge that I have because we've known about this hole now for 4 years. But you'll see all that next week in the charts. And then in 3 weeks, you're going to get a preview of what it is that I think we need to do to keep this county, again, going back to my theme, a county where it is a high quality life, where you can safely work, live, play, and pursue your dreams.
You gave me a bit of a heart attack when you said the first town hall is a week away. It's about a month away.
It's a month away, I'm sorry, yes. I'm pretty excited about it. I wish it was a week away. I'm ready to go out there, all right, because of all our preparation.
And really quickly, when you talk about filling the hole, and we're going to get into this in detail, but that does not include things like a desperate need for police cars.
No, there are some other requirements out there that have been known, and the budget process has shown what they are. And it's not just Mike Boyce throwing that number out there. All 4 commissioners have seen these department heads come to them saying, this is why we think we need these vehicles or this equipment. And they've had to argue for it. So I'm looking for a very interesting afternoon of June 12th.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, here again is the list of the town halls coming up in about a month. Mm-hmm. And you'll certainly be invited to everything on that list, as well as some other events coming up before that. Check out our Facebook page and other social media for dates on other events coming up as well, including the budget retreat, which is on the 12th. And as you mentioned, we'll be back next week with more.
Yeah, we might also want to mention that we have the stakeholder meeting on June 13th.
Oh, for transit.
Involving transit. So as I told J.K. Murphy from the MDJ recently, we're going to give him lots of material to write stories about during June.
All right. Busy weeks, months ahead. Stay tuned. Thanks.